Hello everybody and welcome to today's edition of Women of Another View. I'm your host, Doreen Finkel, along with Barbara from Harlem.
Yes.
And Carol Galantine.
Hello.
Hello.
And folks, today as always we have a great show for you. We're going to be bringing on a guest, Reed Chambers. He's going to be coming up in about a few minutes. He's going to be talking about the anomalies, meaning the election, Chief Justice Robert on the health care, and a couple other mishaps that we've had. And before we get into that, I want to talk about the recent airplane crash.
Crash?
Now-
Was it crashed? We didn't find any parts.
I know.
The missing
Strange.
Malaysian jet flight
Yes.
370.
The
missing
disappearance,
plane.
right.
Yes, okay. It took off from, was it Kalapur, if I could say it right? And in mid-air, it veered off course. The transponders were shut off, okay? And supposedly the airplane jumped up 40,000 feet and then came down to fly at an altitude of 23,000 feet. So it went up and then came down. And normally, if you are flying at 23,000 feet, you can't be detected by radar.
Okay.
All right.
So, right now, investigators think that this was some kind of malfeasance.
It certainly appears to be that way. You're talking a Boeing 777.
Right.
A huge plane.
Right.
And not every pilot, I think, has the expertise
To
to
fly
fly
that,
these
that's
types of
true.
planes. I mean, it takes, particular people.
Right.
So for something like this to happen and Boeing is missing a plane and they don't know what happened to it, where it went to, I find that kind of strange.
Right. So, what happened was it was in midair, okay, and then supposedly it flew for 7 hours.
Okay.
Okay, and the current theory is that one of the pilots might have belonged to a terrorist cell. Current
Be.
theory.
That could be.
Okay, and in fact they searched his apartment and they found a flight simulator
Okay.
in there.
Right. That's just what I was thinking. The terrorist angle.
But we don't want to implicate unless we have all the facts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we don't have all the facts right now. And I don't know why that sound is coming through there. Sorry guys, this is reality TV. You know, we gotta learn.
Yes, we
all
do.
the technology here. So anyhow, this plane is now somewhere in the Indian Ocean.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I
I mean,
might
do
be
they see
wrong.
any baggage?
No.
Anything? Oil slicks? What
Nothing.
indicates that? Just the
Nothing.
right. That's last I heard.
No debris
Right.
No debris, okay.
whatsoever.
So then maybe the plane landed. It would, hopefully, it would be nice if the plane landed.
Where did it land and why would it not land in its proper destination?
Terrorists.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of.
What about all the people that were on that plane?
Right.
All the regular passengers. And some of them, their phones were still operating for several hours after the transponders shut off.
Let's get Judge Reed in on this, okay?
I'd love
Wonderful.
to.
See what he has to say.
That sounds
Please
good.
leave your message
Oops,
for
he didn't answer the phone.
when you
Okay, okay, well, we'll have to wait for him to call back. But Chief Justice Reed is, he's a kind of an expert on these anomalies here.
Okay.
There's so many
We're
of them.
waiting for your guest to come on.
You're right.
So many
Yeah.
strange occurrences.
I know. I
Hey,
know.
Judge, are you ready? We're live. Okay, here, I'm gonna put you
Got
on,
him on speaker.
yeah. Can you hear us, Judge?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
All right.
Again, you know, I'm new at this technology, Judge, so, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Judge, we were talking about the airplane crash I'm sorry, the airplane that went down a
That
couple minutes
disappeared.
ago.
Yeah,
A couple of days ago. And we know that you like to discuss anomalies. What do you make of that situation?
Oh my goodness, you mean like all the disputes or the various theories over the disappearance of the airliner?
Yes.
Well, there's several theories that should be investigated. They're all diverse. Number one, 20 employees of a war industries company were on that airplane. And I understand that the subject matter of the research was teleportation. And the United States has been working on this since World War II. The Philadelphia story is about how the U.S. naval warship was teleported to a wormhole to another place in time. So one theory is that the airplane disappeared as an acid test of the teleportation device that was being worked on by the war industry workers. And that's just one. Also, related but different animal, that the airplane was hijacked by the security services of the Bamboo Curtain, the Red Chinese, because they wanted access to the brain trust of the teleportation war industry workers. And if the airplane was diverted to Red China, they could then pick those brains on a continuum to see what the war industry workers are working on and whether or not they can reverse implement what they are working on for the USA for the benefit of the Red Chinese. And that's another one. I don't think that Putin is behind this, that the KGB hijacked the airliner. I think his focus is on the Crimea right now. And he doesn't want to risk a confrontation with the United States over the welfare of the United States citizens. So while that's something to think about, I dismiss it as not as likely as the other scenarios. Then there's a very strong likelihood that the hijacking of the Malaysian airliner occurred in the region of the Malacca Straits, which is one of the most heaviest pirated bodies of water on Earth. And the terrorists, or the pirates, could be diverting the aircraft so they could hold the individuals and the aircraft for ransom. So there's all my cards and face up on the table. What do you have to think?
But wouldn't you think that's a little bit better if the plane was hijacked, like you said, and it flew to a remote destination where these people are being held captive? At least you know they're still alive.
Yes, I think that if the pirates hijack the aircraft, that the people aboard have a better chance of being rescued upon the payment of ransom. And that'd be up to Malaysian airliners and or the loved ones in Mexican of the individual passport holders that are the passengers.
Judge, this is Carol. I have a question. Where's the ransom note?
right, right, very good
I'm sorry, I
question.
did not hear your question.
Where's the ransom note?
And what would be the
Well,
delay?
that's the troubling. They haven't presented a ransom note yet. So, again, one of the theories I espouse is maybe this was the acid test of the implementation of their teleportation device. Maybe the top secret war industry workers know exactly where they are.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, because I also read that about the 20 people on board, and the article that I read also said that these 20 people on board work for a defense contracting firm that makes what they call cloaking devices.
Sounds like Harry Potter.
Right.
All the
Now,
way,
that's a little far-fetched for me,
yes,
but you don't know in these days, you know?
yeah,
And you know how we talk about anomalies, right, Judge?
yeah.
Things that just don't add up, right?
Judge,
Yeah,
one more.
against it anymore when it comes to science. I think in 1944, the average person on the world would have said it's part of guts to have a single bomb that can destroy a city the size of Hiroshima.
Yeah.
So we know operations at all, and wonder devices that are right around the corner.
Judge, here's another idea. Of course, you remember SEAL Team 6, how many fellas were on that helicopter, that plane that went, that got blown out? All of them on the same flight. How, compare that to the same 20 defense workers on the same flight. Kind of strange, don't you think?
Yes, it seems to me that just before the helicopter took off, certain people deplaned and were replaced by others that were sacrificed. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
that whole aspect of SEAL Team 6 being shot down and killed in action has a lot of aspects that it might have been Islamic payback for their attack on Osama bin Laden, and whether or not the Muslim Brotherhood members inside the White House were working behind the scenes to offer up sacrifices to bloody Muslims.
I wouldn't be surprised. We don't know
No,
yet.
I'm not surprised of anything anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ever since the elections, which are still controversial on whether or not they were honest or election fraud that elected Obama, I'm not surprised of anything anymore.
Judge,
Except that I am somewhat surprised that the courts and the Congress are filled with constitutional cowards.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No one seems to be doing anything or saying much about Obama other than we the people.
Yes.
That's true. That's true. And I would
Well said, Judge. Well said.
Well said. And you know, with these irregularities being discovered in reference to the election, you know, I know one lady was, I think she was found guilty. Is anything else going to be done about those that are deceased and still registered voters? Who's going to do something? And what can be done?
You know, election law is one of my strong points, and I was a state administrative judge in that area for over 20 years.
Okay.
I do believe that until we have remedial legislation that provides places where people vote, you walk in and has an ordinary computer camera, a webcam, and takes the picture of the person and digitized fingerprints of every voter. And then the people gets a certificate that they voted in that election. Then with the face pictures captured, we can utilize face recognition software, because then if they go to another precinct to vote under a different name, they can't change their faces, they can't change their fingerprints. And I
Absolutely.
understand that busloads out of Chicago went north into Wisconsin in the 2012 election and flooded election precincts to register to vote at the polls, which is legal in Wisconsin, without an ID now, okay? All you have to do is present a utility bill. So you can photocopy up a whole bunch of utility bills with different names and addresses on it and just hand them out to people on the bus and go from place to place to place to place.
right.
Oh my
Woods
God.
County, Ohio had an excess of 100% of the voters show up and vote. Whenever you have an excess of 100% of the registered voters actually vote, that is a badge of fraud.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And Judge,
There were 20 divisions in Philadelphia showed not one Republican vote for the President of the United States, so Obama got each and every vote.
That's right.
Even though we know there's black conservatives and these were black precincts.
Absolutely.
right, and Judge, now I want to talk about, since we're on the election, about voting machines on the campuses. And we talked about this before. Princeton University here in New Jersey has voting machines on the campus, and nobody in Trenton seems to know about them. And
No surprise there.
And-
The local election authority in charge of placing the precincts or divisions, or whatever they're called in that particular state, places to vote, the polling precincts, they should have a list, and the list should be published in the newspaper prior to the election.
That's true. That's true.
Okay,
Now, of course,
so,
to me, to put a voting precinct on a college campus is an attempt to get as many student and therefore liberal and socialist votes as possible.
yes, and I want to ask you, then what is the checks and balances? Because students are transient, you know, sometimes they live at the campus, but but they also, the real home might be in somewhere else. So who's to know if they vote twice?
Well, that's exactly why I suggested the video camera and digital fingerprints of every voter as they cast ballots. Then you go into a national database so that a student from Wisconsin who votes on the precinct at Princeton, when he attempts to vote again in Wisconsin, would be arrested like so many of Obama's supporters are for voting more than once at committee election fraud.
Wow, that's
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah, because in Princeton, a couple of our professor friends, you know what they did? They showed how they put a virus chip in the machine, and then they went in and demonstrated to everybody how easy it was to put a virus chip in the back of the machine. Number one, and number two, when you go to press a lever, let's say it's John versus Joe. If you push the lever for John, then the machine would calculate it for Joe with this virus chip.
Exactly. Lawsuits were filed about that. Voters were complaining that they were attempting to vote for Romney, and soon as they pushed the button, Obama's name came up on the screen. And of course, I think there was something I heard that the contract was given to that European computer company owned by George Soros, who had been convicted of election fraud in Europe.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
So what is he doing here in the United States?
Destroying.
Whatever he wants to. Yeah.
You know, then he shouldn't. We have to look out for this stuff in our country as well.
Well, it is happening in our country.
It
They
is.
have the contract to do it here.
Oh my goodness.
We need to get back to paper ballots.
Okay.
And the whole notion of voting from your cell phone or from a tablet just is so easy to
Commit fraud.
mess with.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mm.
You know, you only have to go to one location that they know from cell phones and down with the cell phone tower.
Yeah.
You can intercept the signal, massage the signal, substitute candidates voted for right there at the tower, and then submit it on to its recipient.
Oh. Wow.
That's not that complicated.
True.
You got a patient student with a notebook computer and a monkey wrench guy that knows how to tap into the wirings of a cell phone tower can accomplish that in less than 30 minutes to install it.
Wow. That's
My
frightening.
God's voting needs to be banned by law. We need to have a paper trail.
And I've seen some things with the Harry Reid Sharon Engel case.
Yes.
I checked the polls on that, and the final, in fact, the final week of that election, Sharon Engel was either up by a percentage point or was very close. But then come election day, it's like something happened, Judge. Something, which I don't, you know, it just doesn't sit right here. In
I think
Nevada.
we have election fraud. I think we have a lot of illegal aliens casting votes assisted by the labor unions.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's not like these
That's
people
right.
are patriotic Americans and honest people, you know.
True.
Ask anybody if you think the government is honest. You'll get a blank stare in their eye, won't you?
I know that's the truth. I know that's the truth. That's why I think we really need to practice more due diligence when we elect people. I mean, God help us to elect people with a conscience. You know, because we have so much corruption going on, because character really does count.
It does.
Yes.
It is at the highest priority.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But you wouldn't think so.
And so there's experience now. But what happens when you elect a rank amateur to the White House to take that phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning that the Russians have invaded the Crimea or whatever?
Right.
Or are we seeing what the results of what Obama whispered to the Russian Prime Minister, that after the election he could be far more flexible? for the
Yes.
benefit of the Russians?
Yes,
Yeah.
that he did say that. That's right. After the election. Wow.
Goodness.
I mean, this is ridiculous. This is a disgrace for America to have a community organizer in this seat of authority and privilege.
I will add not only community organizer, but an illegal alien community organizer.
You're right about that.
Modified natural-born American citizen.
Absolutely.
And is conducting the White House as a not only criminal enterprise.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I totally agree, Judge. You have my vote.
Well, give the ball to sue me for defamation for saying those words. I'd love to get to court so then I could provide the evidence against me.
Amen.
Bring me to court. Can't wait.
That's right, that's right. Because, I mean, it's all over the internet that his social security number is the number of someone who lived in Connecticut, and he never lived in Connecticut. They show on the internet his foreign student card when he was attending college. I mean, he lived in Indonesia, went to a madrasa. When did he ever prove that he was born a natural-born citizen of America?
Number one,
So
the
we're not right.
naturalization law that in effect when he was born said that if a baby is born of a woman that's a United States citizen and wants to obtain derivative citizenship for that child, the woman has to live in the United States for the 5 years prior to the birth of the baby.
Okay.
She did not.
Right.
Number two,
Right.
as a youngster, he was legally adopted by Mr. Sarko in Indonesia.
Absolutely.
The adoption of a minor by a foreign national also removes all vestiges of American citizenship.
Wow.
Number three, Mr. Obama traveled on a foreign passport to Pakistan at a time when it was illegal for an American citizen to go to Pakistan. He traveled on a foreign passport. It's also illegal and a loss of American citizenship to apply for and get a foreign passport.
Wow.
Number four, when he was masquerading as a board student at Columbia College
Yes.
and got foreign aid, as a student aid as a foreign student to go to college, he failed to register for the draft because, of course, he was saying he was an Indonesian citizen.
Right.
Yes, but under American Selective Service law, failure to register for the draft bars you from all federal employment. And the sheriff of Maricopa County, Arizona, has forensically questioned document examination laboratory results of both the birth certificate released by the White House
Yes.
and the Selective Service registration form that Obama has in the archives now of both forgeries that were planted.
Yes.
And Judge,
Wow,
also, what about
that's
having two parents? Just say, besides the fact that the mother was not living in the United States for 5 years prior, his father was supposedly Kenyan. So right there, I mean, he didn't have two American
The
parents.
British Empire Archives has a record of an Obama birth in Kenya.
Yeah,
And a Kenyan birth certificate exists.
yeah.
Wow. Now, Judge, can anything be done?
What is the problem is neither the news media nor the Congress are doing anything about these facts.
I got you.
Everybody is looking away that dwells in attentive power. And I mean, in the courts that quibble about whether or not someone is filing a lawsuit that the president is a crook and a illegal alien, and the courts look away and quibble whether or not the person has the right to question or not. In the Congress, my God.
Right.
You would think that everyone in the Congress, Democrat and Republican, would have a constitutional interest on whether or not the president is qualified to serve.
Absolutely.
And they don't.
If they had love for this country
They had integrity.
and integrity, you're right.
Right.
Lack of integrity
Yeah.
and
I don't know why all the people on
statesmanship.
federal death row who have applied for clemency and been denied, the Obama administration have filed in the federal courts a lawsuit to set aside the clemency refusal as to have not having been lawfully heard by a real president. And he's entitled to due process of law.
Wow.
There are so many handles on this thorny issue of Obama.
Is there anything we, the people, can do?
He's
Well,
thinking back.
obviously, when the people in Ukraine took to the streets, the government paid attention to what the people were saying, and the parliament ousted the bad guy.
Okay.
You know, we
Yes.
We sit back and complain we're willing to send a petition to Congress, but the original founders of this country, the people who participated in the Tea Party in Boston Harbor, they actually committed civil disobedience offenses
Yes.
to get their point across. We are far too complacent.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. Well, can we start a petition?
Of course, they have built 800 prison camps for people like me.
Well, listen, we have to stand up for something, and this is where it's standing up for.
Judge,
I'm just shocked. I'm
I
shocked.
would rather die on my feet
Amen.
than live on my knees.
Yes,
Amen.
Amen.
I'm with you with that, Judge.
and
Oh my God.
folks, and I just want to tell everybody.
And everybody in the state of Connecticut that owns any sort of weapon, when the police are going to come to your door, knock on your door, and ask to confiscate it, should right now be moving to any of the 49 other states.
Right.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And actually, before we have to go, I do want to bring up one thing about the Roberts decision on health care.
Ugh.
And we talked about this before.
God.
I know.
Well, yeah.
You know,
He flipped his vote
Yes.
so that Obamacare would be ruled constitutional. And I can't see how it could come to that conclusion.
and you know,
And
a
of
lot of
course,
us.
there's rumors that he was threatened
I believe
by
that.
the proponents of Obamacare
Yes.
that if he obstructed in any way, well then they'd open up a inquiry and investigate the adoption of a foreign child in his own family.
See?
I believe it. Because they're from, they're unethical, totally.
They-
The question is,
Right.
did they blackmail the Chief Justice of the United States and commit subordination of justice? Did they interfere with justice?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
because they want power and they want
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
what I call the communist
Yeah.
nature of it.
Yes.
Uh,
And that Obamacare is so detrimental to seniors as well as the chronically ill. With that animal, it's horrible.
Go ahead, Judge.
I'm not on the Supreme Court, but just looking at the whole history, I remember when Obamacare was coming through the United States Senate. It had 59 votes and needed 60 to stop cloture. Who supplied the 60th vote? Republican Olympia Snow of New England. She voted for it to get it out of committee and through the floor and reported to the House where Nancy Pelosi ran it through. You can't read it. You have to vote for it to see what's in it.
Isn't
Remember that?
Yes. Yes.
You remember the United States Supreme Court saying it's riddled with taxes?
Yes.
That these fees are taxes? Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
And remember the United States Constitution says all revenue bills will originate the House of Representatives, not the U.S. Senate.
Right. Oh, wow.
Now
I
we
forgot.
have a Senate bill riddled with taxes that was sent to the House in blatant unconstitutional fashion.
Yes.
Right. I forgot all about that. There was one Republican vote,
But
Cynthia
then again, this
Snow.
is why you call people like me, isn't it?
It is.
Raise these issues.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah,
There you
well,
go.
This is a very moving and informational call, and I'm so glad to be able to talk with you.
yeah, now also go back to
Wow.
that procedure they used in the legislature to get Obamacare passed.
The super majority.
The
Yeah.
question,
Oh, yeah.
the question of
Instead of
procedure.
holding open hearings with C-SPAN coverage like we were promised by candidate Obama,
Right.
Obamacare went through with secretive emails sent to each other, not through the regular committee process, therefore avoiding making a congressional record. They hobbled the thing together. They made people vote for it without even reading it. It's just between you and I. If you use a telephone or a computer to defraud somebody, that's wire fraud. So they passed this through the United States House of Representatives via wire fraud.
ask you a question, Judge. So can the Congress challenge these things, and is it because they're not as brave as they should be?
It's spineless and irrelevant.
The Congress and the courts are filled with constitutional cowards.
Okay. Okay, you answered my
Yeah.
question.
And part of that would also, what I was gonna ask you is how come the Republicans, especially in the last election, the Republicans didn't contest the election at all?
Cowards.
Right.
Yes, isn't that amazing?
Wow.
So somehow this is all interconnected.
What I think is we need a massive voter fraud overhaul to prevent voter fraud
Yes,
in the election laws.
yes.
Every jurisdiction needs to have an election monitor. We have reached the stage where the elections in the United States are not that far different from the elections that used to be held in third world countries,
I believe
where
that.
the dictator always won with 100% of the vote.
I believe that. We're there. Yes.
We have reached a constitutional crisis. The Constitution of the United States now hangs by a thread.
Yes, it does.
We have a news media that is the Department of Propaganda. Might as well give the Joseph Goebbels Award.
Yeah.
That's
They
true.
see no evil with regard to the President of the United States and his cohorts that are turning the White House into a ongoing criminal enterprise. It's a racketeering operation.
Yeah.
True.
For instance, if it's true, and I believe it is, that Obama is an illegal alien,
Yes.
not qualified to run for president, think about the process of running for president. How many telephone calls are made to people to vote for him? How many email solicitations there are for money? And every phone call is a telephone fraud, wire fraud, for every email exchange. So now we have how many million counts of wire fraud and mail fraud, each one of which carries 5 years in the federal penitentiary and a $25,000 fine. And I didn't originate these charges. They're pending right now in the U.S. District Court in Mississippi, where someone in their right mind finally said, wait a minute.
Good.
They filed a civil racketeering lawsuit naming Barack Obama personally.
Wonderful.
Also, the Social Security Commissioner.
Yes.
Also, Nancy Pelosi, who personally signed the certificate and sent to all 50 states that he's the nominee of the Democrat Party. The Obama campaign machine and the Democratic Party are all co-defendants in a racketeering lawsuit to raise over $1 billion in campaign money by wire fraud and mail fraud.
Well, I'm ready to get up and dance now.
Yeah.
Now, we need to pay
Wonderful.
attention to that lawsuit.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's why, although it hasn't been dismissed, why it's stuck there, the court is not holding case.
Yeah. It's amazing. And, you know,
It really is.
And like you said, Judge, I'm so amazed at the complacency of, you know, people, especially my neighbors, you know.
Yes, yes.
People just kind of walk with their head down, you know, as if they're in oblivion. And, you know, me, I love the Tea Party. Every time I go to the Tea Party, though, I see the same activists,
Yes.
you know, but
Sure.
so it's the same people who are always involved in doing this stuff. And, you know, but then when you walk around the
Well, let's
neighborhood,
look at the real problem we have. We now have federal monitors at broadcasting networks in the studio as censors. We now have a United States Congress that looks away, the courts that looks away. We have the militarization of federal, state, and local police where they're all being issued armored cars and machine guns and 1 billion rounds of exploding hollow point ammunition that is illegal under the Hague Convention to use for
Amazing.
They know when they're going to pull the trigger. We have no idea. Sheep in the field that our shepherd is planning to make war against the American people.
Yeah, because he did say that he was going to develop a civilian army. And I guess this is it.
Yeah.
Do you think Obama will stand for the loss of the U.S. Senate and an increase in the Republican majority in the U.S. House in the 2014 election? Or will at the last minute he declare martial law and stop the election from being certified?
Well,
I don't trust the White House, do you?
I don't. But we the people have to do something about that Senate, about Harry Reid, about all this stuff that's going on. We have to take our chances. Yeah, we have
The
to.
governor of Missouri voluntarily turned over the names and addresses of all the concealed carry weapons permit holders in the state of Missouri to the federal government.
No, they didn't.
Obviously, they're thinking about making a list for confiscation.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Judge, listen, I know this is not right on the topic, but when I was at CPAC, I met a person by the name of Dinesh D'Souza. He wrote a book about TWA Flight 800. Back in 1996, it came down over the New York, Long Island, and
Yes.
he was telling us that all the eyewitnesses on there said they saw a missile go up, but the FBI
Right.
actually threatened these witnesses, said, you know, you better not share this information, that you saw a missile go up. And that is the...
Oh, yeah. And this is strange. That's the only plane crash that was not investigated by the National Transportation Safety Board, and the FBI did it instead.
Yes, and he came out with a video, and I just watched it last night, and you saw how the FBI took over the investigation, and the NTSB was not the lead of that investigation. And I'm telling you, there were so many people that said they saw some type of missile or something go up at that plane.
Right.
I don't think you can discount all these eyewitnesses.
Well, I agree. Well, wait a minute. On November 22nd, 1963, we had hundreds of eyewitnesses witness the assassination of John F. Kennedy.
Yeah.
The FBI has been able to find his butt with both hands with regard to the Kennedy assassination. We have all kinds of people saying the shots came from the grassy knoll. And yet the Warren report says one guy did it, Lee Harvey Oswald. But simultaneously with the Kennedy assassination, for 1 hour the phones in Washington, D.C. went blank. It pulled the plug on the telephone at the phone company. They enlisted troops from NATO to circle American cities to put down riots if they developed. The colonel of military police, who could have provided over 1,000 military police and Army intelligence people to assist local police, was ordered to stand down, which is contrary to public policy. Whenever the president leaves Washington, D.C., the military always assists law enforcement to provide protection.
Right.
One wrong gun nut cannot make the phones go cease to work in Washington, D.C., order NATO troops to be in a position to put down riots, and to order the U.S. Army to stand down and not assist local police. But when we look at who was named to the Warren Commission, we see the most active Warren Commissioner was the former director of the CIA, Alan W. Dulles, who was fired by Kennedy for being opposed to Kennedy's policy to stand down and not assist the invaders of the Bay of Pigs. Who was the deputy director of the CIA, also fired by Kennedy that day? General Charles Cobble.
Yeah.
Who was General Cobble's brother? Mayor Earl Cobble of Dallas.
Huh.
They said they don't know who changed the parade route going to Oswald's window because the parade was a plan to go there. The police said they didn't do it. The Secret Service said they didn't do it. But do you think the mayor's office can?
Wow.
There's way too many people who saw that assassination and who were covered up, shut up, and they were just totally not taken down. The official version all pitted on the wrong guy who was a patsy. So yeah, we got the same kind of situation situation happened with the missile strike on TWA Flight 800.
Yeah,
Right,
and he
right.
said that, he put out a couple theories, but one I'm gonna mention was that, the Army or the Navy or whoever was doing testing, and the missile accidentally launched onto the aircraft because it was flying there, but it was an election year. And
Oh, yeah.
Bill
Oh, yeah.
Clinton was ahead, he didn't want to come out saying to everybody that this thing was a mistake or something. And the other theory that floated around was that there was somebody of importance on there who had some sort of secret information. So,
Okay.
yeah, and it was all
There's
good
always a
stuff.
good reason to suppress the truth.
Yes, all the time, right.
And
And we have professionals doing it. Look at the news media today. Half of what they do is suppress truth, and the other half is spin lies.
Absolutely.
well, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So, now that it's 15 years or whatever, how many years later, and somebody like me is much more in tune to this,
Right?
not a young spring chicken, now I see how all this stuff fits in.
Yes.
Yes, right.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we got a real problem in the United States. We've got a perfect government,
Yes.
federal and state.
Yes, we do.
It's a cesspool.
Yes, it is.
Gangsters are running the United States.
In all three branches of government. I've been elected as a representative in Massachusetts. I've served as deputy circuit court administrator in Missouri. I've been a state administrative judge in Missouri. And my personal experience, when I first ran for the state senate, a guy came up to me who happened to be judicial commissioner, sits on the board and picks the judges, okay? I thought he was going to ask for a yard sign for his yard to support my candidacy to be elected state senator. Oh no, he had an envelope with cash in it. Told me if I put the cash in my pocket and accept an alternative appointment rather than be elected to the Senate, I could be appointed to anything I want, providing if I withdrew my state Senate candidacy and let the incumbent state senator be re-elected without an opponent.
Right.
And when
Wow.
I went forward to the FBI and the white collar crime unit of the county prosecutor's office with this tampering, not only was the guy never arrested, but the following January as I walked down the sidewalk, he rushed me from behind and I was hit with something hard and solid at the base of the skull, and when I came to, he was literally kicking my ribs in and stomping on my neck.
Wow.
And yelling, "You turn me into the FBI, you SOB." Well, guess what? I'm now at the Veterans Hospital, this is 1989 was the assault. So, long time. I have permanent cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spinal injuries. I get multiple spinal injections every year for pain management. And before I ran for the Senate, I was a guest chaplain to the state Senate. So this is the true story of Judicial Commissioner as assault Senate chaplain. Offers cash in an envelope and promises to get me appointed to anything I want using the muscle of the state senator to be very grateful to win an election without having a voting.
Oh my
This is reality.
Oh,
We have
wow.
corruption from the White House to the State House to the courthouse.
To the church house.
yes, wow. Okay, Judge, listen, we're out of time.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for coming on
I
our
would
show.
like for you to call me back on another day and I'll talk to you about some positive things like creation and new employment.
All right.
To help the economy.
And folks, we are out of time. So thank you for watching us today. Please go to campusteaparties.com, that's campusteaparties.com, for more information on the show. And until next time, we'll see that.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
my pleasure. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye now. What a wonderful conversation.
Yes.
Full of information and, oh wow.